Namaskar, I'm Neil, and I welcome all of you to my channel, UPSC and You. We are shooting the final video in our Sherlocking Prelims 2022 analysis series, and I'm certain that by the end of the session, you would have enough tools in your arsenal to go back to solving any previous question for prelims since 2011 onwards. Know that the proof of the pudding lies in eating. So merely watching these series would not give you the entire set of tools that you would need. It is all about using these heuristics and practicing them over and over again in the previous questions. Before I begin the video, I just reiterate the two pillars which are pivotal to our analysis. First is knowing that basic sources and common sense will take you to places at this point in time to give yourselves the best possible shot at clearing the exam. All you need is a thorough understanding of the basic sources and application of common sense. For those of you who have not watched the first video, I would put the link on the top right side, and you can go watch the first video and see what constitutes basic sources, in my opinion. The second pillar is also important. Second pillar says that an overview of topics is going to be far more rewarding to you than in-depth knowledge. Because anecdotally, based on my experience, sometimes the more knowledge you have on the subject at times, the more likely you are to get stuck in 50-50, the more likely you are to get paralyzed by indecision. And sometimes with an overview, you are more decisive in the moment and you're more likely to arrive at the right answer. So with these two pillars in mind, let's start with question number 91. Question number 91 says, consider the following pairs. Site of Ashoka's major of edicts, and on the right are the location. Question says, how many pairs given above are correctly matched? To be honest, I didn't have much idea about this question. And so I solved this question by bundling all 8 such questions together, and I solved them using probabilistic bundling. I have promised in my initial videos that I'm going to speak about the probabilistic bundling in the final video, which is this video, and I'm going to talk about it in the end. Let's say if you don't want to use probabilistic bundling in this question, is there any other way that we could approach this question? In my opinion, the answer is no. Why? Because Dholi is in Odisha is a well-known fact. So at least one pair is correct. And Eragudi also sounds like a Telugu word. So 2 also I was inclined to mark 2 as correct. The confusion arises in 3 and 4. Whether Jogad is in MP or not is a point of contention, and whether Kalsi is in Karnataka or not. I think in one of the NCRTs, Kalsi, it has been spoken about as to how Kalsi is in Uttarakhand in a different context. So I think knowing that Kalsi is also in Uttarakhand and is not in Karnataka could also have been known. But even in that case, you get stuck in C or D. So 4, so between B or C, my bad. That would be the point of contention. Dholi is in Odisha is a well-known fact. Eragudi sounds like a Telugu word, could also be related. Jogad, whether Jogad is in MP or not, it's very difficult to ascertain. Kalsi is in Uttarakhand. Again, is a well-known fact if you read the NCRT on Fine Arts. So the question boils down to knowing about statement number 3. It's very difficult to know about it. So you can mark 1 between B or C. It's a 50-50. The answer actually is option number B, because Jogad is in Odisha. And but that is not how I approach the question. I approached this question. There were a total of 8 such questions, and I approached all of them by bundling them together. I'm going to talk about that in the end. A very similar question, question number 92. Again, we'll handle this question in the end. This is a very difficult question because most of these kings we don't read about. So it says how many pairs given above are correctly matched. So I have not heard about option number 1. I'm not aware whether 1 is correct or not. 2 also I have no idea about. 3 also I am completely blank. For 4, I'm sure that 4 is incorrect. because Raja Bhoj came from Parmar dynasty. So for 4, I was sure, but that doesn't help me eliminate either of these options. So ideally, I would have left it if not for the probabilistic bundling method, a method I'm going to talk about really soon. The answer to this question actually is option number B, because so Nanukaji was, he came from Chandela dynasty. Jaya Shakti ji also came from Chandela dynasty, so 2 is incorrect. Nagabhat 2 ji came from Gujar Pratihar dynasty, 3 is correct. And 4, as I've spoken about, is incorrect. So 2 and 4 are incorrect, 1 and 3 correct. Answer is B. How I approach this question was through probabilistic bundling, a method I'm going to talk about really soon. Let's come to question number 93. Question number 93 says, which one of the following statements about Sangam literature is ancient South India is correct? Let's see. Statement number A, option number A. Option number A says Sangam poems are devoid of any reference to material culture. As soon as I see the word any, I am inclined to believe that A is incorrect. Why? It has an extremist connotation. Sangam poems are devoid of any reference to material culture. So even if in the entire literature there is only one reference, statement number A will stand to be incorrect. So I very confidently eliminate A. Let's come to statement number B. The social classification of Varna was known to Sangam poets. Again, it's a soft statement. And so B, it's a soft statement, it's a generic statement, it's a commonsensical statement. So I'm inclined to believe that B is correct, but I'm going to hold. I never mark an answer on in the OMR before reading through all the options first. I'm going to read through option number C now. C says, Sangam poems have no reference to warrior ethic. Again, an extreme statement. Even if in the entire corpus of Sangam poems, there is only one single reference to warrior ethic, statement number C will stand to be incorrect. So I eliminate 3 also confidently. Statement number D. Sangam literature refers to magical forces as irrational. Again, this is illogical because in those days, magical forces were seen as something rational, something that could be explained, something that were a part of their lives. So B was more commonsensical. D also was, went against the dictum of common sense according to the contemporary understanding of how things work. D doesn't make sense. So that is why I was inclined to mark A, and which again indeed was the correct answer. So I keep reaffirming the same over and over again. Although Sangam literature constitutes a part of the basic source, but reading about what exactly entailed the literature usually sometimes is outside the bound of basic sources. So A, but these options could be fairly eliminated, easily eliminated with common sense, is something you could see right in front of your eyes. I would repeat, A, it says any reference are devoid of any reference, extreme statement, eliminate A. C says they have no reference to warrior ethic, eliminate. D says refers to magical forces as irrational. I eliminate B is the softest, most generic statement. Says the social classification of Varna was known to Sangam poets. Right, so basic source is common sense. Basic source is common sense. I can't state it enough. Let's come to question number 94. Question number 94. I had no idea when I was sitting in the examination hall what was this literature about. I also tried to Google it when I came back, and I was not able to find a straightforward answer. So this is a very difficult question. Yoga Vashisht was translated into Persian by Nizamuddin Panipati during the reign of. So it doesn't speak about the literature Yoga Vashisht. It is speaking about the translation of Yoga Vashisht into Persian. And under whose reign did it happen? So I have a very commonsensical heuristic. Whenever you have a list of kings, whenever you have a list of kingdoms, I always choose the one which is most prominent. Out of all these 4, the most prominent king, the biggest king, was Akbar the Great. Out of these 4. So I mark A, turns out to be the right answer. You would find similar heuristic wherein, Ashoka the Great is one of the options. Or, Krishna Dev Raya ji is being spoken about. All these great kings, whenever they are one of the potential options, they are more likely to be the correct answer. Sounds very silly, sounded silly to me when I realized that such a heuristic exists. But the more you see it at work by going through previous questions, the more it is going to make sense to you. I marked it because Akbar was the most prominent king. Turns out to be the right answer, not a coincidence. Let's come to question number 95. Question number 95 says, the world's second tallest statue in sitting pose of Ramanuj was inaugurated by Prime Minister of India at Hyderabad recently. Which one of the following statements correctly represents the teachings of Ramanuja? Okay, let's see. So one says the best means of salvation was devotion. Sounds correct because these movements were related to Bhakti movements, and Bhakti movement was all about devotion. So it sounds correct to me commonsensically, but I'm going to hold. Statement number B says Vedas are eternal, self-existent, and wholly authoritative. So wholly authoritative, I see an extremist connotation, I eliminate B. Option number C says logical arguments were essential means for the highest bliss. I knew this was incorrect. This was the philosophy of Nyaya, and Ramanuja had nothing to do with the Nyaya philosophy. So 3C contextually is incorrect. D says salvation was to be obtained through meditation. Now you go back to the heuristic I spoke about, wherein if there are two similar looking options, the answer is going to be one between the two. Option number A speaks about salvation. Option number D speaks about salvation. So be rest assured that the answer is going to be one between the two. A is more contextual. Bhakti movement is more likely to be related to devotion than with meditation. So even if you had very rudimentary knowledge of the topic, you could easily arrive at the right answer. Answer is A. Let's come to question number 96. Question number 96 says the Prime Minister recently inaugurated the new circuit house near Somnath Temple at Veraval. Which of the following statements are correct regarding Somnath Temple? Let's see. So one says Somnath Temple is one of the Jyotirling shrines. So I know that one is correct. Contextually, I knew of this song Somnath Saurashtra mein Kashi mein Vishwesh. I know that Somnath is in Saurashtra and it is a Jyotirling shrine. So one is correct for sure. So you eliminate B. 2 says a description of Somnath Temple was given by Al-Biruni. Again, this is a well-known fact that a description was indeed given by Al-Biruni. So this also, not only did it make logical sense, it made contextual sense. 3 said Pran Pratishtha of Somnath Temple was done by President S. Radhakrishnan ji. So the D out of all these 3 statements sounded most trivial to me. 2 also is trivial, but in this case, I was aware of the trivia. I was sure, I have read this, that a description of Somnath Temple was indeed given by Al-Biruni. And 3 has a piece of trivia that I'm not aware of. So there is a high likelihood that maybe it was not, the Pran Pratishthan was not maybe done by President S. Radhakrishnan ji, but by someone else. So I was inclined to choose one between, so I eliminated, I was sure 2 is correct, so I eliminated C. I knew at that point in time that the answer is one between A or D. And so I backed my hunch. It's a 50-50 at this point in time. 3 sounded trivial to me. Based on previous question exhaustive analysis, I knew that 80% of the times trivia like this, which is not very oft known. 3 is also, I would repeat myself, statement number 2 is also a trivia. But 2 is a oft-known trivia. Most of the serious aspirants have been aware of statement number 2. Statement number 3, we don't read in usual sources. That is why I was inclined to believe that statement number 3 is incorrect. I mark A. Again, turned out to be the right answer. Right? So knowing the resolution of when to apply which heuristic only comes with analysis of previous questions. You can always, ask a counter question and ask me as to, why were you inclined to believe that 2 was correct? 2 also has a trivia. But I would repeat myself, where you have context for topics that you've read from the book, don't use common sense. Statement number 2, commonsensically, if I have not read the statement, I could have, right? If I was not aware of statement number 2, then maybe I'd get confused. But statement number 2 is well known if you read your basic sources well. And that is why I marked A, again, turned out to be the right answer. Let's come to question number 97 now. Question number 97 says, which of the following statements best describes the role of B cells and T cells in the human body? I mean, all I knew about B cells or T cells is that they are related to the immune response. And I believe that level of knowledge would have been enough to get you to the right answer. Again, I would repeat, the moment I see B cells and T cells being spoken about, the only fact that I was aware of in the moment was that they're related to immune response. Let's look at the options. Option number A says they protect the body from environmental allergens. I know A is incorrect. B says they alleviate the body's pain and inflammation. Quite on the contrary, as a matter of immune response, these cells cause inflammation in the body so that they can fight the external agent that is trying to threaten your body. So 2 also is incorrect. They act as immunosuppressants in the body. Again, quite the contrary to the basic understanding about B cells and T cells. B cells and T cells are related rather to the immune response. So they are not immunosuppressants. They protect the body from the diseases caused by pathogens. Again, D, commonsensically, logically, contextually is correct. For people who would have gotten confused in a question, who would forget in the examination hall about the correlation of B cells and T cells with the immune response, you can look at option number A and D, and you could look in the similarities. A says they protect the body from. So that heuristic also again works like a charm in this question, wherein if there are 2 similar looking options, the answer is more likely to be between the 2. And so it brings me to my initial point. So this question I was able to do straight away based on my knowledge, but I still analyzed it and tried to understand if there's some heuristic which works. So again, you could see the same heuristic working here, and you'd see the same set of heuristics working over and over again in all the papers from previous years. And that's an assignment I leave you with. Go back to previous questions now and try to see how effective these are, and then come back to me and tell me how helpful this series has been. Let's come to question number 98. Question number 98 says, consider the following statements. Which of the statements given above are correct? Okay. Other than those made by humans, nanoparticles do not exist in nature. And as soon as I see this question, I realize there is no option which says all of the above. So at least 1 and at max 2 of the options are incorrect. This sounds commonsensically illogical to me. Other than those made by humans, nanoparticles do not exist in nature. It has an extremist connotation. So I eliminate 1. I'm left with B or D. I would still read through the 2 statements. 2 says nanoparticles of some metallic oxides. Again, I am focused on the directive sum. Nanoparticles of some metallic oxides are used in the manufacture of some cosmetics. So I am led to believe that 2 is correct. It has very soft directives. Statement number 3 says nanoparticles of some commercial products which enter the environment are unsafe for humans. Again, the directive that I focus on in statement number 3 is some. And that is why I mark D turns out to be the right answer. So since this question has not come from a standard source, I am confident in the examination hall that common sense will take me to the right answer, which it does. You have to believe that these heuristics work. How do you believe these heuristics? You believe in them only by applying them in the previous questions, by keeping the keys in front of you, and then trusting what I'm telling you. I forgot, by the end of the session, I would very quickly compile all the previous questions with their official answer keys, and I will put them on my Telegram group. You can access them. I will put the link of the Telegram group in the description box. Question number 99. Question number 99 says, consider the following statements. DNA barcoding can be a tool too. Again, the moment I look at this question, I realize there is no option which says all of the above. So again, at least 1 and at max 2 of the given statements are incorrect. One says, assess the age of a plant or animal. I know that DNA has nothing to do with the age of the plant or animal. I know that carbon dating usually is used for this purpose. So if I have to eliminate one out of these three, at least one, so I will eliminate. I eliminate one, I come between B and C. I'm left between B and C. Let's look at statement number 2. 2 says it can distinguish among species that look alike. Again, this makes logical sense. And 3 says identify undesirable animal or plant materials in processed foods. 3 also makes logical sense. I would again repeat the heuristic. No option says all of the above, so at least one, and at max 2 are incorrect. 1 says assess the age of a plant. I know that usually carbon dating and tools like that are used for assessing the age. So DNA barcoding, I don't think has anything to do with the assessment of the age. Eliminate 1, 2, and 3 are commonsensically coherent to the working of DNA, and that is why I mark D. Turns out to be the right answer. Let's come to the final question. Final question, question number 100. Says consider the following. Which of the above are causes of acid rain? Okay. Let's see. Carbon monoxide, I'm not sure. Nitrogen oxide, for sure it is correct. Ozone, I'm not sure. Sulfur dioxide, for sure is correct. You read these facts in class 8th. So 2 and 4 are correct. You should have absolutely no doubt in it. I see only one option has 2 and 4 together. So UPSC is not even trying to confuse you. If there were an option which says 1, 2, 4, or if there were an option which says 2, 3, 4, or if there were an option 1, 2, 3, 4, then I think this would have been a really, really difficult question to solve. Really difficult. I mean, then I would not pick 2 and 3. I would, in that case, would have picked 1, 2, 3, 4. Because directly, indirectly, there could be a logical correlation made. But UPSC is not trying to make this vague at all. They have given no other option which has 2 and 4 together. That is why I say, as the fictional character from Suits, Harvey Specter keeps on saying, you don't play the odds, you play the man. Similarly, you don't have to play the question, play the options. Whether the question is difficult or easy is entirely down to how the options are set. This is a very easy question because the options are set so that you directly arrive at the right answer with basic knowledge. So I mark B, again turns out to be the right answer. That is it. Now let's coming to what I like to call probabilistic bundling. There are a total of 8 questions this year. Okay. Take out the question paper in front of you and go back to the questions that I'm talking about. The total of 8 questions of this kind of the kind, wherein you have 4 pairs, and then the question says how many pairs are correctly or incorrectly matched. Okay. I solved all 8 of them at once. Which are those questions? Question 92, question 91, question 88, question 87, question 70, question 62, question 56, and question 30. Pause the video, take the question paper in front of you, and you will realize there are a total of 8 such questions. I took them all together. Right? Now, what did I do? I know of this curve, which is the normal distribution curve. Okay. And I know that the highest frequency happens in this region, around the mean. So A says only 1 pair, B says only 2, C says only 3, and D says only 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is the probability density function. So commonsensically and in the most laymanish term possible, the most likelihood is between these 2 options based on probability. So I was sure that the likelihood of 2 or 3 pairs being correct out of those 4 is the highest, and the likelihood of 1 or 4 pairs to be correct is the lowest. Now it's a matter of picking between B or C for me. So I blindly picked B in all those 8 options, and let's see how I perform. And let's see what if I would have chosen C, what would have been the outcome. I would reiterate, repeat this probabilistic bundling only if you have a high risk appetite and who needs to have a high risk appetite? People who are targeting IFOS. For one, they will need to have a high risk appetite. And two, for people who know anyway their attempt is gone. No matter what they do, they are not going to qualify. For those people also, you should always try to maximize your chance, because anyway your attempt is gone, you should try to give yourselves the best possible shot at clearing the exam. If you're underconfident and if you don't want to play the odds, don't use probabilistic bundling. So I marked B. Let's see what I ended up with. Question number 92. The answer is unambiguously B. Answer is B without any doubt. Question number 91. Answer is B. Question number 88. Answer is B. Question number 87. Answer is C. Question number 70. Answer is C. 62 is contentious. Question 62. The answer is one between C or D. I think C ideally should be the right answer. I think that's a question about which states are known for being tea producing. In my understanding, answer should be C, but I won't be surprised if the answer is given as D. Question number 56, answer is C, and question number 30, answer is B. So you could see in front of your eyes that this probability distribution curve, which is also called the bell curve, the Gaussian curve, it does work like a charm here. Now, I'm not saying that there is no possibility that UPSC next year will give all the answers as A. Could happen, but there are very less likelihood of that. Prelims for me is a game of odds. It's a game of probability. For one, the moment you step in the examination hall, there is no surety of you clearing the exam. But on the contrary, again, there is no surety of you missing the cutoff right from the word go. You always have some probability. You will never have 100% probability of clearing, and consequently, you will never have 0% probability of clearing. It is a number between that, and you have to maximize that. So I marked B. That means I got 91 correct, 92 correct, 88 correct, and 30 correct. So 4 correct, 4 incorrect. That gives me a net 5.33. If you would have chosen C, you would arrive at a similar score. Let's say you got 3 correct and 5 incorrect. Even in that case, you would get plus 2.67. Let's say you get 2 correct and 6 incorrect. You would still only get 0. Same as what you would get if you won't attempt all 8 of those questions. The only problem arises when you get only 1 correct and 7 incorrect, and when you get none of these correct and 8 incorrect. Here you end up with minus 2.67, and here you end up with minus 5.33. So of course, there can always be a remote possibility of you ending up in this zone, but there are very less likelihood of that happening. So I will repeat myself. If you have a high risk appetite, if you're targeting IFOS cutoff, I would encourage you to play the odds. I played the odds. I ended up with plus 5.33. That is my understanding of it. I used the probability distribution function, the Gaussian curve, the bell curve, which told me that the likelihood of these options was the most. I picked B. Even if I would have picked C, I would have arrived at a similar score. That is about probabilistic bundling. So ask yourself how much risk you want to take. I think that is about the video. We have spoken about the 2 basic pillars over and over again. Then we discussed the 10 questions, final 10 questions. Then in the end, we spoke about probabilistic bundling that has been pending since so long. Now go back to those 10 videos again. That is one challenge I give you. And look at how many questions you could have easily gotten correct with common sense and basic sources. And I kid you not, that score any day would be above 100. Wait for the cutoff to come out. I assured you the cutoff would not be over 90 in any case. Come back to the comment section when the cutoff is declared and hold me accountable to that prediction. The cutoff in any case won't be over 90 marks. In my understanding, ideally though, it will be less than 85. But even with that 5 marks of margin of error, in no case will it be over 90. So you can easily score 100 plus in arguably the most difficult prelims paper of all time. For me, this was the most difficult paper of all time, even though this is the first time I have cleared IFOS cutoff. So that is an objective fact. Now go back to other previous question papers and see these heuristics at play in those years too, and then give me your feedback. Before I call it a day, I'll just show you the Telegram group that I'm running, where I'm going to put the compilation of previous question papers and their key. Feel free to join and feel free to look at more of my work in the description section. So if you go to the description section and if you click on so this is the channel that I'm running, right? So if you click on the link in the description box, this is the channel you're going to arrive at. I am going to post all those question paper compilation here in this channel. If you want to go to the study group, this is the link to the study group. That is how you could join it. If you want to go to the answer writing group, that is the answer writing group. We are doing questions on internal security right now. You can read the pinned messages to know more about the initiative. And I think that is it. Moving forward, I'm going to try to finish the CSAT series really soon. And after that, let's see where life takes us. That is it. Thanks a lot for joining me. I am certain this had added value to your preparation. If you have any counter arguments, if you have any questions, if you have any counter propositions, feel free to comment. If you think this video added value to your preparation, feel free to like. And I will see you soon. Thanks a lot. Take care. Bye.